House rules. Each speaker has 5 minutes. The first and last minutes are protected. The judge will ring a bell to signal the protected time. The bell will ring continuously after 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Laura Masi from Kyeizooba Girls.
Hello, everyone out there. My name is Muganzipita Clever from Ibanda Secondary. Besides me is Tkunane Felix, and after him is Alho Prosper and Alinda Brea at the last of the line.
We do expect to learn and win, of course, from this resolution, and then we'll leave all the rest to go. Thank you so much.
So expect fire, expect quality analysis, expect quality argument, expect quality counter arguments, and expect a lot of us to show you many of the things. Thank you.
Resolved. The first step to change is awareness. The house, I believe that we all believe this. So in sensitization and awareness programs are key factors in preventing human trafficking. To begin with the keywords, sensitization. Sensitization refers to the act of making somebody or something more aware of something, especially a problem or something, according to the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, 10th edition. Then awareness programs are initiatives designed to educate and inform target audiences about specific issues, causes, or products, according to the aquantify.com on November 6, 2023. Then human trafficking. This is a crime of transporting or controlling people and forcing them to work in the sex trade or other forms of forced labor. So what are we talking about in this resolution? First of all, we are basing our discussion today in our own continent, Africa, because most forms of human trafficking in Africa, with the main culprits being men, women, and children for farm labor and domestic work, commercial sex exploitation, child soldiers, ritual sacrifice, according to the ResearchGate report reviewed on 5th January 2024. Currently in Africa, human trafficking is a serious problem, with Africans being trafficked into other continents for labor and also being recruited into criminality with their own countries at 40%. Most of them are being children, according to the recently released UN report. Africa has about 7 million of its people being enslaved in sub-Saharan Africa, according to the Human Trafficking Trends report. So today we are here to talk about this in this resolution. First of all, how do we sensitize the people? How are people sensitized? How do they get to know about the human trafficking? Sensitization can be through using media, using social media platforms, integrating literature in the curriculum, organizing sensitization gatherings in rural areas where people cannot come across communication means, sensitizing the general public through worships, training the youth on how they can distance themselves from the trafficking. Then awareness can be through using television stations, radio stations, newspapers, print media, using all social media platforms. So, what are the forms of human trafficking in Uganda, in Africa today? Or what are the major human trafficking cases in Africa? We are first looking at sex trafficking. Again, we look at forced labor and then child soldiers in Africa, as they are the main forms of human trafficking today. So we are here as Team Affirmers to foster for the sensitization and awareness programs, because we believe and we know that they are the key factors in preventing human trafficking. Why are we fostering for the sensitization and awareness of this human trafficking? We are fostering for this so as to mobilize popular concern about the risk of falling prey to these criminals and about the social and human costs of trafficking in persons. In general, anti-trafficking campaigns should focus on educating people about the true nature of that crime and its consequences. So we believe and we know that sensitizing people and making them aware of this bad act will be the best way to solve it and prevent it. We are looking at prevention of human trafficking, and we know that when we sensitize the people, or the people are sensitized about this, and then through the awareness programs and everything, they'll be there to know that human trafficking is bad, and this will be the main way in which we can prevent it. And then the day you stop learning is the day you start dying, as Albert Einstein said. So meaning that when people do not learn, it's hard for them to know what is going on. That's why we were informed to come here in this place. If it was not for information, we wouldn't be here. So meaning that when you inform someone, sensitize them about the danger of this, they'll be able to know about it and then prevent it. Thank you for listening.
Yes, we agree sensitization isn't bad, but making it a key in this case is the bad thing. Because in our opinion, in our view of things, we see that it comes to a lesser extent. Why? One of the problems associated with sensitization and awareness is the limited reach of the sensitization. She talked about organizing sensitization programs through public gatherings and through mass media platforms, through telephones, through everything. The way she explained it, you had it. So I'm asking myself, I'm asking her, from the conscious, the king of hearts, how many people, when they are called for a gathering, will go there? Remember, most of them will be engaged in their fields. They want to respond to that. And how many people in your village are accessing radios for their communication? You find that a larger extent isn't accessing those radios. And if they do access the radios, they use them for entertainment, not for programs. So most of the population, when we reach the educative programs, they just switch off the radio. And again, you talked about the children being mostly among the trafficked people in Africa. Remember, when the children are trafficked, it is against their will. And them being trafficked, meaning that even if you sensitize them and educate them, they will still be kidnapped. We agree, kidnapping, when you kidnap me and take me somewhere, you have trafficked me. So, I will give you an example of the child soldiers in DRC, the Ugandan child soldiers that were taken into the DRC. Before they were repatriated by Ugandans, their parents took them there to the ADF coordinators, and then the ADF coordinators themselves delivered them to the what? To the Congo bushes to fight. Now, look at that extent. Remember, the president had just started the education programs and had passed through the leaders, the Muslim clerics, through the mosques and the whatsoever. They did education, but look what happened to these Muslim brothers, their Muslim gatherings. After the education, they just took the children to the what? The ADF bushes, but they are fighting jihad wars. Look. That is the environment education is taking you. You educate someone has that thing that is into his head that he will not respond. I will take it at last. He will not respond to your education. And then they took the children to forests. Look what happened. That's why we as Timber Farmers stand to say that we should strengthen legal frameworks and enhance security to combat or to prevent human trafficking. And strengthening these legal frameworks and enhancing this security will help us reduce internal human trafficking. This is the human trafficking that is carried out in countries, i.e. the internal human trafficking carried out in Uganda, carried out in Africa. And when we enhance security, we shall have prevented that, because one of the ways in which we shall enhance security is to increase patrols. When we increase patrols around, they will be able to detect early the signs of human trafficking. I will take it at last. And then arrest the traffickers. And also establishing the toll-free lines to enable early reporting and detection. The current report from the government indicates that the hotline that was previously introduced, received 20 to 30 calls per week of human trafficking related issues. Thus, we see that when these toll-free lines are further dismissed into the population can easily report these human traffickers, which will enable the government to easily detect and handle the human trafficking while we are doing sensitization. But sensitization is not the key in this case. We see that sensitization and awareness, they are forms of education, and this education is a learned process. And the learned process, it is reinforced by a constant stimulus. Meaning that if you do not reinforce this education, it is a short-term thing. Meaning that a person, an individual, will easily forget, and thus, when he is enticed by a reward, like the way these human traffickers have been carrying out the trafficking, when he is enticed by a reward, he will easily respond. And then, have you reduced human trafficking? But if we put in place these strong laws, if we strengthen the existing laws and update them to match the current situations of Uganda, we can be of Africa, of the African continent, we can easily reduce human trafficking. And thus, we as Team Negators believe that strengthening the legal frameworks is key to fighting human.
This is the High School Crossfire. We'll be back in a minute.